record button.
Now it's going to
And
be whoever suggests record the most frequently at the end of the term gets points.
let's look in my library of games. No, let's go to purchases. Okay. Let's turn the Wayback Machine to, let's see, what was in the June 2019 Humble Monthly?
So there's my packaging material.
Oh my, that's funky. That's very nice.
Thumbs up is a weird color though.
Okay, Sebastian, send me an email address in chat privately that you would like to receive a game on. It'll be a Steam key or something. I don't know exactly how it works. Waiting for the email address. The whole class is waiting on you, Sebastian. Send me an email address. There it is. Okay. I'm copying. I'm pasting. Sending email. Okay. I have just sent you a copy of Pool Panic. I said I would give away games. I didn't say they'd be good games. You are now the proud owner of Pool Panic. Okay, so let's see what the situation is. Let's see, DO1. Let's go to, first, I said I'd do, let's look at our groups though. Come on, why is, okay. So first I said I'd do Right Club. So 3 p.m. Right Clubs. Let's see. Okay. I copy paste ones that I like. All right, let's move it, people. Which is from Mulan. I like Mulan. It's Mushu from Mulan. I like that. Participants went away. Now it's all stream. Okay. I'm sorry, Dennis. Come back. Go. How can you be on chat if Zoom has blue screened your PC?
Oh no.
That can't happen. Oh well. Quick, grab my hair. That's from Tangled.
That's really funny.
Right? That would be like an attack
Somewhat
thing.
ironic.
This is a deep, well, not a deep pool, but a deep pull, but not the obvious. Tefiti is with me, which is Mulan, or not Mulan, Moana. But you know how far I'll go is the obvious move for Mulan. But I like Tefiti is with me. Officer Hops reporting for duty is from Zootopia, even though I fell asleep during that movie. I don't know. Okay. And oh bother is exactly what you want. And Ohana means family, which is, I guess, from Lilo and Stitch, but if you go to the Polynesian resort in Disney World and there's a restaurant called Ohana, and when they bring you to your table, they always say, Ohana means family. You are all family here. And it's one of those where they bring around skewers full of meat and forever, and you just get the meat sweats and pass out. And I enjoyed that. So that's just a selection of the Disney barks. There were some barks that were um, not the kind of barks I was looking for. They were what are known as proximity barks, um, which I had said these are click on, move, or attack barks. Proximity barks can be in other kinds of um, games rather than RTSs. They're generally not in RTSs, where you go walking by a character and uh, it's the character, the NPC says something to get your attention so that you'll go over and click on them. I got a fair number of those across both classes. Um, and, that's fine. It's not terrible. It's just not what I asked for. So, you know, but they were okay proximity barks too. Okay. What do I have there? Okay. So next, I'm a little sad um, about the group organization at the moment, because uh, let's look. Let's. I don't know what you all can see, but I will share you what I see of the groups for for the ARG. This is what I see. I got 5 artists. I've got 1 gameplay person. I have no producers. That is very scary. Um, I don't think I said it here, but I certainly said it at least once on Tuesday. You don't want the people leading the entire project to be the ones who didn't come to class the day that roles were assigned, right? Um, so that's a tad scary. Uh, Producer gets a lot, yeah. Um, well, I'd rather somebody who really wants to do it did it. We have 2 recruiters. That's great. 5 tech and 5 writers. So it sounds like um, you're nobody wants to make puzzles and activities, and nobody wants to be in charge. Um, so, yeah, you can nominate leaders. Once again, I'd much rather um, someone nominate it themselves, or so you can change groups. Because so here's the question that a question that came up in the other class. If I'm a producer, does that mean I don't get to write? Or if I'm a producer, does that mean I don't get to make puzzles or make art? No, it doesn't. Producers are going to have their fingers in every pie. Um, so uh, if you have good time management skills, if I especially, it's funny, a fair number of seniors over the course of the years have taken this course, even though it's a 1,000 level course. They come back as seniors because they didn't get it. Oh shoot! I've got a pot on the stove that I have to turn down. I'll be right back.
So Nick, who would you nominate if you were going to nominate somebody? No idea. Do you guys, in your D&D groups, did anybody stand out with you guys for,
Okay.
somebody who
Oh boy,
could?
that was scary. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I'm making pozole. I have hominy from scratch, and it's got to boil for quite a long time. So I started it, and I meant to turn it down before class started, and I forgot. So okay, so what was I saying? The producer has their fingers in every pie. So if you want to be an artist, or if you want to be an artist, being a producer doesn't mean you can't do that. In fact, it means you're going to be working with all the artists and all the writers and all the gameplay people. The other thing, okay, so I'm a little worried that people haven't joined. I'm hoping that the people who haven't grabbed a group didn't grab a group because they're undecided between multiple things they want to do, and not just I don't want to do anything. So there's that. The producer's main job is organizing everything. Correct, Alex? In fact, there are going to be days coming when I turn over the entire class to you. In fact, let's see. What is a game producer? This is worth it if I can find the video that I'm thinking of. Is it this? Yes. Okay, so this is a pretty good little video about what a game producer does. So I'm going to do new share. Oh, it's there already, but I want to share computer sound and optimizing. So very quickly.
At long last, the guest art marathon is finally coming to an end. Allison is recovered and ready to come back starting next week. Scaldaferri, a good friend of ours. She's a student at VLS to talk about one of the less appreciated roles in the game industry, the producer. When James goes to talk at different schools, he periodically has people come up to him and say, I really want to be a producer. It doesn't happen that often, but it's a great thing to see. The industry needs more exceptional junior producers. In fact, it needs more devoted producers at all levels, because production failures are one of the most common things to sink projects, or turn crunch time into a death march. But, like I said, not many people come forward with that career in mind. Far more students are itching to be designers, and it's not that hard to understand why. Production hasn't been mythologized in popular culture quite the same way design has. And maybe that's not a bad thing, but it does mean that often even the people who want to become producers only have a vague and nebulous idea of what a producer does. And really, who can blame them? Even the industry doesn't have a clear consensus on what a producer does. Every studio treats them a little bit differently and breaks down their responsibilities in different ways. Heck, we even give them different titles. If you're entering the industry as a producer, your first job could be associate producer, junior producer, just plain old producer. But one thing remains constant in almost every studio out there. Being a producer ultimately means being a manager. But what does that mean? It's a question you have to be able to answer if you want to be one, but I often see aspiring producers struggle answering it. Being a manager doesn't mean being a boss. Being a manager means being a facilitator. As a producer, it is your job to make sure that as many people on your team are as effective as possible at all times. This can mean anything from helping people communicate more easily to picking up takeout when people are working late. As a producer, you have a little bit of a higher level view of the project than most of the developers, so it's your responsibility to help smooth over the parts of production that the folks in the trenches might not even see. For example, fairly early on in his career, James was thrown into a production role on a project. There was a hiccup in the art pipeline which was forcing the art team to routinely do a workaround, which wasted maybe 10 minutes of their time each day. It didn't seem like that big a deal, and everyone on the art team assumed it would take forever for the programmers to fix, so they didn't really want to bug him about it. But when you add it up, 10 minutes a day per person meant roughly 3 man-hours a day for this team, completely lost because of this pipeline problem. That adds up over time. So once James got a first-hand look at the crazy workaround the artists had to use just to do their job, he walked over to the programming section of the office and grabbed the nearest available programmer who was waiting for his code to compile. James described the problem and asked, how long would this take to fix? Turns out, almost no time at all. It took 4 lines of code and done. The guy had the problem isolated before his compiling job was even finished. James mentioned it to the programming lead, and the fix was implemented by the next day. Just like that, the art team was better able to do their job. But being a facilitator is actually the easiest part of a producer's job. To be a good producer requires a level of psychological discipline, firmness of spirit, and evenness of temper that comes naturally to very few people. Production, like anything else, is a discipline that you have to work at. The first thing a good producer must come to terms with is the limitations of their own abilities. As a producer, you're going to be the expert when it comes to scheduling, but that's about it. Art, programming, design, sound, you will never be the person who has the best understanding of the subject in the room. When you're having meetings with various departments, you've got to remember that the people around you dedicate every day of their lives to their specialization. You are simply there to listen, collate the data they give you, and relate that information to other departments as it applies to them. You are a connection point for the very specialized people you're working with. But you are not an expert yourself. It's very easy to assert your opinions as a producer, but it's an urge you must fight. You've got to train yourself to accept the fact that you aren't there to make development decisions, and honestly, you probably aren't the best qualified one to be making them anyway. Instead, learn to trust those around you. This can be especially hard for those who started in those other disciplines and became producers later. James will confess to this from experience. But even if you were a hotshot programmer or an artist before you became a producer, you gotta remember, the people on your team working in that field right now are a lot closer to their parts of the project than you can possibly be. They are focusing on that task every hour of every workday. And if you start trying to foist your ideas on the team, you'll undermine the authority of your leads and completely destroy their respect for you, which just leads to a deadly cycle of micromanaging. So, once you've learned to trust your team and learned to put your fate in their hands, after that comes the next remarkably difficult aspect of a producer's job. There are many styles of decision-making on teams, but the style I found most effective has the producers acting as the supreme court. The leads in each department make all the decisions, but the producer can veto any decision if they think it jeopardizes the project as a whole. But even this system is prone to abuse. A bad producer can easily start inventing reasons why a decision they don't like will push the schedule, or take vital resources away from another part of the project. To do this job well, you have to be introspective and self-aware enough to fight that temptation. Now this leads us to the last major point, and really the big reason why a producer's job is so important. Shipping a video game is a very, very hard thing. It doesn't matter if it's your first title working with a student team, or if you've got a budget somewhere north of $100 million. Shipping a video game is still a very hard thing. Fundamentally, the producer's job is to see that product ship, to see that everyone's hard work reaches an audience, and to see that the studio survives to soldier onto a new project. This means you have to be emotionally invested in seeing the product ship, but not in the product itself. Now, I know a lot of producers are going to balk at this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Everyone else on the team is very emotionally invested in the product. They will fight all day, every day, to make sure that that game is the best game it can possibly be. The producer's job is to be the counterweight. You must keep the project grounded in reality. Without producers, none of us would ever manage to ship a game, because no one has ever shipped a game they felt was 100% finished. We can always think of some small way we could make it better. Producers are the anchor that aligns the wild aspirations of the development team with the harsh realities of schedule and budget. This means a producer has to be bitterly honest with themselves. If time and budget require you to redline your favorite feature, you must be able to do so without hesitation. It'll kill you to do it, but you can't let your personal desires influence the decision. A producer can't allow themselves to blindly believe that the team might be able to get that awesome feature in, somehow, simply because it's a feature they love. This is one of the hardest parts of the job, and it's made even harder because it's a job no one will thank you for at the time. When you have to redline the feature you love, no one's going to see the discipline and the anguish it took to do so. All they'll see is that you just redlined their favorite feature. If you're lucky and you have a good team, everyone will thank you when launch day comes, but even that can be uncommon. Unfortunately, producing can be a pretty thankless job at times, which is a shame when you consider how crucial they are to the success of a project. If you happen to be watching this from a development studio right now, just go give your producer a hug. They could probably use one. Now, before we wrap things up, here's one last piece of advice for the producers who are just starting out. It is totally okay if you don't always have the answers at your fingertips. Because you're the connection point between so many people, it's easy to feel like you have to have an answer immediately on the spot whenever someone asks something. It's not even a conscious thought. You feel responsible. You don't want it to look like you don't know what you're doing, especially around all these people who've been doing it so much longer than you, and you really want to be helpful. Easy mistake to make. Just remember these golden words. I'll look into that. Or, I'll think on it. These words are the producer's most powerful tools. No one will think less of you for taking the time to work through their problems, and in the end, you'll be able to give them a real solution instead of making up a suggestion on the spot. Being a bad producer is probably the easiest job in the game industry. Certainly the easiest to get away with not being fired. But being a good producer is probably the hardest. A producer has to love not games, but game development. You have to love helping a team function as a unit. You have to love solving all the quirky problems that come up with putting together an interactive experience, rather than just the experience itself. The best producers are genuinely passionate about seeing their team's hard work rewarded, and can be equally invested in that goal whether they're working on a dreadful licensed title or the game of their dreams. If I had to say what you should try to learn as you work your way towards being a producer, go learn everything you can about people, and also learn some humility. There is more authority in humility than in all the swagger and bluster in the world. Well, hopefully that has at least helped to clear up what a producer does. And seriously, go hug your producer. See you next week.
Okay. I'm going to stop the share. The producer is the person who who makes sure everything gets done, essentially. While a designer, and it's funny because usually I have a lot of designers or people who think design is great, and they're the ones who tend to gravitate towards gameplay, right? And we only have one gameplay person this time for some reason. It's interesting to me. So it's filled now. Ooh, yay. Let's see. This is I still don't have what's filled now. I've got still 0 of 2 in producers. Other people, gameplay is filled. Everybody jumped in gameplay. Which so let me just say that Shen Fang cannot be a producer. He's in China and he's 12 hours out of sync, so can't do that. And Liv, I don't know, is Liv here today? Liv is here. I'm kind of, if I don't want to make you the producer because you're the last person to choose. Okay, Liv. We've got a producer. What I want to do is to get leads. Okay, so actually I am going to share and I'm going to change this to file, save as, and Dino, Dropbox storytelling. Okay. ARG org 2020. We're saving it. Okay. So lead producer is Liv. Then we have, and these are in no particular order. I change them all the time. Alt H. Where's my chat? There's my chat. Okay, so I will be very patient with you. Hopefully, everybody else will too. So we've got to talk writers now. Who among the writers? We've got Ian, Kirsten, Mitchell, Sebastian, and Nick. Who would like to be lead writer? Anybody? Type it in the chat. Or, well, I don't really have your pictures up, so I can't see raised hands. Sebastian is going to be our lead writer. Isabel Vasquez. Everybody's name is now Bell. Okay, so let's widen that up.
I can see raised hands if that's helpful at all.
Oh, okay. Why isn't this? There we go. Okay. Let's just move through and get leads first. So artists, Hannah, Sydney, Aaron, and Avery, who would like to be lead artist? Anybody?
Hands?
Unless anyone really wants to be, Avery will. Any argument from any of the other artists? Going once, going twice. And Avery is our lead artist. Avery. And going to gameplay. Daniel, Lena, Dimitri, Caroline, and Tom. Do I have someone who wants to be lead? No one. No one in gameplay wants to be in charge. Come on. Any hands? Y'all there? No one wants to be lead. Okay, we'll come back. Tech. To Adam, Brian, Ed, and Dennis. Anybody want to be lead? Dennis wants to be lead tech. Anybody else want to argue over that? Okay. Dennis James Stelmach. Okay. There we go. Back to gameplay. Come on, I need a lead. Are you all here? You all jumped in. And nobody in gameplay wants to be the lead. Okay.
Adam, it looks like Adam. Is Adam on gameplay?
No, he's one of the techs. Daniel was first to sign up. Is Daniel here?
Well, as the producer, Olivia gets to facilitate things. Could she make this her first act of facilitation?
Daniel doesn't want to be the lead. What does gameplay do? Okay, gameplay are in charge of puzzles and activities, right? So anything. So in past times, if the people who were into codes and code breaking would be gameplay, the people we would also get programmers in there because, for instance, one of the things you can do is create, say, a Pac-Man, a very simple Pac-Man clone, where when you get to the end of it, you clear, I don't know, one screen or three screens or whatever. It gives you a message that says go to this URL, right? Or the keyword is pomegranate, right? And then that unlocks another code. So we get both programmers and puzzle people and kind of community organizers, where we've also done things like and these were in-person things, but you could do it with pictures, take a picture of yourself, where it would be like everybody show up on the quad at 5 p.m. on Friday in a red shirt. And if we get 5 red shirts, then we get an okay result. If we get 10 red shirt, we get a good result. If we get 15 red shirts, we get an amazing result, right? So it's that kind of both, hey, let's all put on a show kind of thing, and um, puzzles and making games. So that's what gameplay does. Any word from gameplay about who wants to lead? No. Okay, I'm moving on. Going back to writers. Do I have a sidekick? All right, somebody said way back.
Mitchell said he wanted to be the mentor of the villain.
Okay, Mitchell is the mentor. He gets his first pick. That's the amazing thing, is if you speak up. Oh, there's only one L in Mitchell. You get what you want.
Did you see Nick's note?
Yes, Nick, I would love for you to be the second producer, and we have one less writer. We can do with one less writer. Olivia by herself worries me. Not any casting aspersions on Olivia, but it's a lot for one person.
And Ian's volunteered for villain.
Lena, if I'm not, you can switch to the writing group because Nick just freed up a place. So we lost a gameplay person. You know what? I am gonna put this online and let you all put yourselves in where you want. And I am gonna switch over because I'm running out of time. New share back to this share, maybe. Is this coming through clearly? Because I still have it set for video. How do those positions apply to tech? Okay, good. So basically, if the sidekick needs a web page, great. Then the tech does that. It's also I want to make I don't know. I want to program a new Android app. Then, and I happen to be the mentor tech person. Then it becomes easy to say, okay, the Android app was developed by the mentor, that kind of thing. But all of these roles are suggestions, not restrictions. So if the sidekick needs a web page, and the best web page creator, SSA, whatever programmer, the sidekick needs an Etsy store or a checkout store to buy things with fake money, and the mentor tech person knows exactly how to do it, then the mentor person should make it for the sidekick. It's not, I'm not going to be like, no, you can't do that. Okay. Yes.
Can you refresh your page, because we've had somebody who I don't see in class here volunteered for a producer. And I don't even know how to pronounce that name.
Nick.
No. Oh, it's me. Oh, Luna. Okay, so Luna. Okay. So Luna Luna volunteered at some point as a producer. Did you hit refresh? Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah. So, okay. So Nick is now, okay, never mind. Everything's changing too quickly. Julian.
Yeah, like if you move things around on Canvas, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, because I have to refresh the page for it to come up. So that means that Nick is still a writer, right? I am going to put the spreadsheet up in Google, and um, I'll and give you all permission to it. I'll put the link up so that you can sign up yourselves. Please do so by tomorrow. So I want to talk about the next thing, which is ARG Achievements. And actually, it's better. So once again, HTML kind of sucks. The Canvas thing sucks for how to see this. I prefer well, it's very small in Word. So let me go through the ARG achievements very quickly before we have to go. Essentially, if you get, I think I said 150 achievement points as a class, then you get an extra five extra credit points for towards this particular assignment. So the reason why I do achievements is because I'm once again trying to give you suggestions on what to do. And one of the ways to do it is to think about, okay, what can I use to convey the story? What can I use to do some activities or gameplay? And these are the things that other groups have used that I have thought of using. Every year I push people to use weird stuff. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It really, that's the production person. Sebastian says, I feel like this system could quickly lead to a rabbit hole of links between an unreasonable amount of social media sites. It hasn't. Let me just say that. Mostly because, remember, you have to, if we go back to make an ARG, every day, each day there should be only 2 story beats and 2 gameplay beats. And I have to edit this because I used to say one of which has to be online, but the world has changed. All of which have to be online. Well, all, and then I can save that. So that's our scope, right? 4 things a day, 2 of which are gameplay, and 2 of which are story. Story can be a blog post or a YouTube video of somebody talking to the camera, or a meeting in Zoom. Between a character and some players. So going back, these are all suggestions to use Twitter, use Facebook. It is against Facebook's terms of service to create fictional accounts, but people do it all the time. Use Instagram, use Twitch TV or Mixer. Snapchat Minecraft server, a console friend message on Xbox, Switch, or PS4. Does anybody use Foursquare anymore? It was made by a WPI alum. 1 year they tried doing the entire safe discussion place for players on Reddit in a subreddit. And it didn't really go well. I wouldn't recommend that, but go to our conspiracy and put up a story. photo sharing, Tumblr, make a wiki, get a Wikipedia page. Yes, if we use a Minecraft server, would the art people have to build any relevant structure or things in the server? Either art or tech, depending on who's got more experience with Minecraft. Public Google Doc, safely show players private email. So this is a big thing. If you just say give players a password to a Gmail account, they can send email from that account. So over the years, there have been a number of like fake web-based Hotmail, but not Hotmail. We made up an email app that just has our characters' email stuff that is essentially a bunch of web links so that they can't, delete or spam email from some character. Make a video, use Spotify, use a blog. You get what I'm talking about. Use a dedicated domain name, register something, and put something together. Use 2, use 3. Create a Facebook app. Do those exist anymore? I think they do. Make an iPhone app. I don't think there's enough time to get approval in the App Store from Apple. And I used to make this worth 50 because I didn't think anybody could actually do it. And then last year, the year before, someone made an iPhone app and put it on some shady place in China that would side load the app onto your iPhone, and got the 50 points. So I've reduced it to 15. Create an Android app. Create a Windows Phone app. I'm not sure the Windows phones exist anymore. That's always, I leave it there for posterity. A personal message for a player. Use phones where players can get a recorded message. Use phones where players can talk to a character live. Have a character call a player, which means you're going to have to collect phone numbers if you want to do that. Have a character call at least 10 players, or maybe have some sort of conference call, SMS messages, live chat over IM or IRC or some other chat client, an email autoresponder. Everybody who played the Locksmith ARG got one of those, a chat bot, a Twitter bot. Create and use a newspaper ad. I believe WPI has an online newspaper. You can take out an ad. TV commercial. That's actually a holdover from, I'm sorry, I should have deleted that. You can put TV commercials on the campus TV channel. Internet radio podcast. I don't know if WPI's internet radio is still working, but people have gotten stuff on there. Broadcast radio seems crazy to me. I don't know how you do that, but I left it in. Create a book, virtual art installation. You get it. There's a bunch of suggestions. Then have 5 unique players contribute to your ARG. Have 10 unique players, 20, 50. Attract 5 who aren't in the other class. I'm going to help with these. I'm going to advertise both ARGs to former students and alum. So some people from outside the class glom on to one or the other. I think it was in the 4 o'clock class, someone in the class has played the ARGs before just for fun. Have users create stuff for you. And how many you get depends on how many points you get. Get one player from outside the state being Massachusetts. that's not that hard because everybody's in whatever state they're in now. It used to be harder. One player from outside the country, the other ARG, the other section will get that with Sheng Fang because Sheng is in China. If Sheng plays, get 5 players over age 30. I'll play. That's one. Get your parents to play. And then negative achievements. Get me fired. Get me scolded. This has happened.
I think that should be more than 500.
Well, it just means you're not getting the points. Players attempt collusion. This is when, here's another thing. This happens every year. You're stuck on their ARG, and you know somebody in the other class. It happened more when people were in the same dorms, or their roommate, their apartment mate was in the other class, and they're like, "Hey man, we're kind of stuck at this thing. Any help? Any help?" And I'm gonna share something with you. I've been trying for, what is it, 15 years now to revive this saying. If somebody comes to you and wants to know about your ARG, knowing that you're one of the creators of your ARG, you should say clearly and forcefully, go pound sand. This was an insult that was popular in World War II. It hasn't been used much since, except in this class. Karen's husband uses it. So it's a more forceful way of saying no to the collusion. I would always love that out in the hallway between 3:50 and 4 o'clock when the classes were changing. Every once in a while, every couple of years, I'd hear someone in the hallway yell, "Go pound sand." And I knew what was happening. So if somebody sends you an email, or one of your friends is playing Call of Duty with you and they're like, "Hey, can you help me out?" Or I'll tell you about our ARG if you tell me about yours. Just type in all caps, "Go pound sand." And I'm hoping that with generations of people taking this class, all sand. Sand is the gritty thing on the beach. With generations of people taking this class, I'm hoping to revive this phrase. So don't collude. Looking behind the curtain, that's another thing where basically this is not an excuse to cyber stalk people in the other class and vice versa. So if you find evilcorporation.com and you look up the domain, the who is on the domain, and it's registered to someone in the other class and their home address is there. It is not I'm going to tell you, don't make it part of their ARG. Don't make it part of your ARG. I'm going to tell them the same thing. Your personal details should not be part of this ARG. Don't cyber stalk each other. Don't dox each other. And if, say, for instance, you do a who is lookup and you start, it's Bob Jones, and you start looking up Bob Jones in Cranston, Connecticut, And it turns out that Bob Jones in Cranston, Connecticut, is a sophomore at WPI. That would tell you, hey, they're part of the other ARG, they're players, they're creators, and you should let the curtain drop and slowly back away. Use of zombies, no. Use of ninjas, no. I didn't put pirates in this year. I guess pirates are okay. Yes. No Deka poisoning or Chartwell's poisoning if Deka's not part of this. Let's stay away from the pandemic entirely. And don't ask people to do anything illegal. Don't ask players to do anything dangerous. Don't be a jerk. Don't ban players from your forums just for talking about other things rather than the ARG. Don't get banned for being a jerk. And don't publicly post a broken puzzle or activity. Last but not least, I want to give you a seed. This is something to build from. This is a thing called the Antikythera mechanism. You can look it up quickly, write it down. Here, I'll put it in the chat, copy, and then you can all copy and paste, Control V. This is an ancient wonder. That's really cool. Do some research, put it in your ARG somewhere. It could be the central thing of your ARG, or it could be something on the side, but it's got to be somewhere in your ARG. That's it. Yes, put it there. Okay, I am way over time. It is 3:56. So I am going to stop the share. That's a lot of stuff. Wait. What, Eddie? Pirate ninjas. No pirate ninjas. They are ninjas. There are no ninjas. But you can have pirates. No pirates. Or no ninjas. But you can have pirates because the Antikythera mechanism was discovered underwater. So I left pirates in. Okay. I'm going to stop recording. That's plenty. You guys should, I will post the spreadsheet, but I have also put channels in the Discord for each group. Start talking there. Okay, bye.